Back in Switzerland, Libersue to be exact, we've been summoned by one Mr. Marc Hayek and his team at Blancpain. They've been working on something special and want to share with us before the big reveal to the rest of the watch world. I arrived just minutes ahead of my consigliere, excited for the surprise. Unsure what to expect, but this visit feels important. I mean, we did travel halfway around the world.
Oops, sorry.
It's fine. Is it hot in there?
Did you see you got your initials on it?
Yeah, it's just, that's fun.
I'll come by you. I said I'll come by you.
Those 3D glasses.
Once you've done the horological factory tours, you realize they're all pretty similar. This one, however, is slightly different in that Blancpain isn't taking us through how they make watches, but the effort they've put into innovation behind this one particular piece. What I can tell you at this point is that it's a Grand Double Sonnerie and the most complicated timepiece they've ever made, capable of playing not one, but two distinct melodies on command, with one composed by musician Eric Singer of Kiss. Did I mention it also has a tourbillon and is a perpetual calendar?
Vous avez des questions?
Any questions so far?
Obviously, technology plays a big part in engineering, but how much is the human interaction brought into creating the sound?
Si on ne maîtrise pas les fréquences
If you don't manage the frequency chart,
de manière technique,
technically speaking,
la mélodie sonne faux.
the melody will sound wrong.
Melody. In a way, you could say that watchmaking is kind of a musical composition, many different parts, part of a whole coming together to produce something meaningful, something romantic, something mesmerizing, something unnecessary, but at the same time, desirable.
Angle of the anglage. Most common in Switzerland is a 45-degree angle. Here, for greater visibility, the angle is 30 degrees. And you will see Elizabeth here using a tool.
The tools haven't changed much, or maybe they have, but Blancpain chooses the old road anyway. Every surface is touched by human hands, every detail coaxed into existence the slow way. The main plate and bridges, solid 18-karat gold. Beautiful, sure, but unforgiving. You see it in the 135 interior angles, each one polished with slivers of Genetian wood grown in the Valley de Joux. But it's time to see what this thing can do.
Grand Sonnerie, melody Westminster.
So we start with Westminster, 12 o'clock on the Grand Sonnerie. That means passing the activation. That means we will have to wait a little moment until it starts. You will hear a little tiny click before it starts.
Silence. The main event awaits. Everyone pulls their phones out to capture the moment. It's one of those rare occasions where technology, tradition, history, art all collide at the same time. This was 8 years in the making, all for this singular moment to hear a melody.
Maintenant, changement de mélodie. Toujours
That's
à 12
beautiful.
heures.
This was 12 o'clock, right?
That's 12
This
o'clock.
was 12.
Yes.
Yes.
So again 12 with Blancpain melody.
Yes.
And then we will do minute repeater at 12:59. So you have to hold the longest sounding time.
Beautiful.
Yes. Maintenant, la sonnerie la plus longue est 12h59.
Naturally, you can also afterwards come individual and film it and hear it and register. So no worries. That's just.
A brand not very often known for surprises has managed to keep one of the biggest secrets in the watch industry under wraps for 8 years, producing a super complicated timepiece that plays 2 melodies, has a flying tourbillon, and a retrograde perpetual calendar. I'm excited to spend some time with Marc Hayek and get a better understanding of what it was like not only working on this project, but what inspired it in the first place. So I want to talk to you about sort of the inception of this idea. It's when you read it on paper, it's a wild idea. I didn't know what to expect. I was like, wow, this is very ambitious. Obviously, 8 years in the making. So you were clearly dedicated to this. But I'm curious why. You know, I think with the release of the new Villeret, which we've talked about, right, and the sort of subtle pivots and changes in terms of design, which I appreciate, is one of the first things I noticed when I saw the video in the boutique several weeks ago. But there is a clear pivot that's starting to take place. It's not drastic, right? I think you're still staying to the core sort of like design philosophy of Blancpain, but it seems like there is a new day coming. So I would love if you could elaborate a little bit on that, but also inform us why this piece, why now?
Yeah, for me it was for a long time kind of a goal and something we had to do one day, because the Grand Sonnerie is somehow the holy grail for the complications. And Blancpain, we never did that. And one time it was somewhere in the back, you know, idea, because doing something just to say, okay, we can do this complication was, and for a long time it seemed like that, because you have complications that are you know, smaller, bigger, sounding like this, sounding like that, but it was little elements that kind of at one point pushed me to say, I think there's a moment there where we could take a step through stuff we did, stuff the industry did, technology did. If I take the example, it was in 2011, I think, with Breguet. We brought out the musical watch with the magnetic regulator, and that was then the magnetic pivot. That was years after we brought the silicon hairspraying escapement, because we had a lot of problems of magnetized watches, especially in the US actually. It was where it was the peak of it to use, and we were all happy that we got rid of the problem.
Yeah.
And years later, with this stuff came that we could use magnets in the movement. You can regulate tempo different. You could make something, you take off the side noise. And with working on that piece that had nothing to do with the Grand Sonnerie, I said, wait a minute, there's elements, this might bring a step. And then there was, for years and years, so much of a race of grand complications, adding complications. Oh, it's like, I have 7, I have 9, I have 12, I have 15.
Sure.
And that was a big part I've seen of the work that went in a lot of big brands and a lot of big developments and a lot of energy. And I said, that's a moment where if you put energy into one complication, into one theme, that has not been done for a long time. That was not the trend. Yeah. And these elements together, say, guys, now we have to attack. Now we have to, I feel we can do something, and you know, we still want to add complication, but we stay on the same. That's how the second melody came, the second Grand Sonnerie, because that's going against the trend somewhere. You know, it's doing the same effort, adding complication, but the same one, and going completely out of, because I can, you know, you don't count. It's not a grand complication. No. It doesn't have the most, and it was never the goal to say it has to be the only one. That's why it was actually with the marketing when they came and said, "Are we sure? Can we say we're the only?" I was sitting there and said, "I have no idea," because it was not really the objective. It was the objective to push this to do it, but to do it, today, and not take a base, not take something and make it a little bit different, a little bit better, and it just felt right. And now we start, and also the team. It was the team, the people came together long enough to say, we got the talents. It's not a one-man show. It's not one great engineer.
Yeah, I love that, because I feel like, especially post-COVID, so many brands have tried to take the easy route, and it's just like, oh, let's just do an integrated steel sports model, right? And so you 8 years ago were like, no, we're going to create one of the most complicated timepieces in Blancpain's history. And here we are. So before we continue, I want to kind of focus on the star of the show and talk about the watch a little bit. I know there were definitely some complications in here that you wanted to touch on. So if you want to.
Yeah, so this piece is extremely impressive because, to your point, you can just have a minute repeater, but you have also the sonnerie, the music, and then you do a double, which isn't necessary, but you're flexing your muscle a bit. And then to add a retrograde date with a flying tourbillon is just mind-blowing, and the crowd erupts. I want to ask, did you feel, when you speak of pushing, did you feel like you wanted to push the industry a bit? Did you want to nudge a little bit and kind of get people back into the competitive spirit again?
Yes and no. Nudge maybe a little bit. So guys, I felt that we seen extreme complications with forgetting I want to share, because for me, a big part of, besides the watch I buy for myself and I get lost in it and great, is these moments with watch geeks. It's passing around, it's sharing emotion, it's talking about that. That's
I just kind of wanted to see it in all
a huge
its
part for me. And if you have a watch you cannot wear, and you cannot walk around, and you cannot give to somebody because he will break it, you take away this part. And that was probably what I wanted to push. Not to say we can do it better, but I could get what the flight tourbillon is. You want to look, you want to lose yourself. That's why the finish was open. And okay, the perpetual is because I'm horrible. I love watches with date, because every day I forget which date it is. Wait a minute, was it?
So I love that you touched on that, because there's this whole idea of like the popularity of like useless complications. That's like a thing, right? And for a long time, I think minute repeaters and sonneries were considered as part of that. What you've achieved with this piece, because of how wearable it is, right? We're talking about a piece that's 14, I think 0.6, 0.7 millimeters in thickness. It is a 47 millimeter case width, but because of how spread out it is and the really short and tight lugs, it doesn't feel like a 47 millimeter. When a 47 millimeter, I think like offshore. And this doesn't feel this still slides underneath the cuff. But you said something that I wanted to touch on, and it just reminds me of, something that means a great deal to us, and it's this idea of like watch culture, right? And you think about the like Patek Philippe Grandmaster chime, beautiful watch. If you ever come across someone who is fortunate enough to own one and you see it, you want to try it on, but in all reality, that's probably a watch that doesn't leave that person safe very much. Maybe once, twice a year at best, right? Here's a grand complication timepiece. So many things happening. You've got a tourbillon. You've got a perpetual calendar that isn't your typical perpetual calendar layout. It's still very much Blancpain, right? With how you're using sort of the hook arm. In addition to that, we've got 4 gongs, and it's got melody baked into it. Because it's so wearable, this is a watch that I think for anyone who's lucky enough to own this piece, it's going to leave the safe a number of times a year. Not only that, because of the level of innovation, if this thing enters a room, everybody's flocking over. Let me see, because when are you going to get to see something like this? And they're going to want to try it on. This guy or lady, because you never know, will be the star of the show. I want to ask, I know you have a relationship with, I believe his name is Eric from KISS. Where did that relationship come about, and what sparked the conversation to be like, you know what, maybe he might be crazy enough to join me in this endeavor?
Whoa, many years ago. Don't ask me exactly when. 15 years or more. Actually, Baselworld, and basically like crazy interviews, and actually my he's a very close friend, musician as well, a band, and at the same time our IT security guy for the group came to me and said, you know, Eric from KISS is here, show, can he come in and she thing? And I said, yeah, sure. You would enjoy, come meet him good. I said, I'm on, interviews full. Sure, come in the evening, we see something. And I thought, yeah, okay, you have sometimes honor, great personality, great star. So already I said, how does he look? Because without the microphone, we have no idea.
We're so used to seeing them with the thing on,
And then, I was like, wait a minute, I met a watch freak, and we talked about it. I said, the mask, thank God I can walk around. That was the idea, without being known, because I'm here. But Patrick, he see me, and nobody knows me. He knows me. He said, hey, you are, and we start talking, and he said, I just love and I'm passionate about watches. That's why I'm coming to Basel, and sorry I disturbed. And I'm like, wait a minute. Then we spent time, and I met a watch freak, and we changed on watches, and this contact stayed for years. So, but mainly on when they were here or tour or another band, friends, like I said, come to concerts, but mainly watchy. And watch friend to exchange, and he's collecting not only Blancpain, different brands, but some 50s that are rare. And we became really watch friends. And when this came, we said, musician, theory. I said, wait a minute, come on. It just seemed fun, to be honest. And that's how it started, that's how it came.
To kind of tap back into what's under the hood, I think to Perry's point, when you think of a timepiece that is this grand, usually it's not wearable or even user-friendly. So you've actually integrated all of those things. And where the nimbleness comes in when we speak of integration, right? This is a fully integrated piece. There's no modules. It's designed and engineered directly with you guys. You have a twin barrel system, right? So there is no lever, which makes it very accessible, because some folks, they can wench at that. Modern. And it's very modern and forward thinking. Where was the idea to implement that and actually be conscious for someone, because this is not someone's first piece, right? They may know how to handle this timepiece.
Actually, from experience, painful experience, to be honest. Already, myself, sometimes you have to remember what to do in what moment, and kind of think about what you're doing. That's already something that is like taking away a bit of the fun of just, because you remember, wait a minute, which button was now to change? And you pressed the wrong, no. And again, for me, the part of enjoying is watch passion and say, here, take, look at it. And then you do that with the mini repeater, and I did that.
It feels like a ticking
and
time
it
bomb.
went click, click,
Yeah.
and it was gone. So you're like, oh. So at this experience, I said, no, we have to find something, we have to do something. I want to be able, to hand it over to not only a long-term watch connoisseurs that has many repeaters, that knows what not to do, or I have to stand and say, I show you, to somebody that's like, whoa, what's that? I say, you can sound, I press. And I can relax and like, he presses 2 times.
Just don't drop it.
No, yes, that's all. So we can putting down the level of being nervous. Yeah.
Wow.
So it really came like that. Say, no, this is taking away fun. If you're nervous, if you're stressed, also a liver, we did a liver actually that was waterproofed with a system, but it gets so hard. It gets serviced, and it's not a watch you go diving, but it's we say
You don't have to worry about
10
the
meters,
rain,
but it's
washing
rain,
your
washing your hands. You forget it, you go jump in the pool. It should hold, and all these elements are, again, makes it for me much more fun to enjoy it, much more relaxed, and that was big part of it.
Yes. I think, and the timing couldn't be any more perfect. I mean, we've seen other brands do some really highly complicated pieces lately, but to your point, these are engineering and artistic marvels, and it's fantastic, but they aren't really made for a consumer or a collector to enjoy, right? They're sort of made to be put away and maybe on display as being precious. But here you guys have delivered something that, however complicated it is, I think collectors can actually really, really enjoy this watch. And the thing for me that I love, and I love that this is happening for Blancpain right now, is the effort that you made in connecting with Eric to make this a thing, right? To make music part of this, to make a double sonnerie culturally relevant, right? It adds a new level to watch collecting. And I think it sets you guys apart in that it's obvious that you're focused on the future and future collectors, right? This is a piece that I think it's a game changer. I think the industry is going to have to respond to this. I think obviously there are contenders that can produce similar quality. However, the usefulness, the thought about the end user, they haven't thought about that. And you guys have. And I think in a day and age where, Blancpain has been, seen as a heritage brand, something very, very traditional, and we don't want you to lose that. It's encouraging to see a brand like this that Jean-Claude Biver once quoted as being the oldest watch company in history is making strides to talk to a new crop of collectors.
I would prefer and love myself to see Blancpain much more in, some way the roots give you like a tree, certain stability, but I'd like to be not a fashionable, but in spirit, the youngest oldest brand, or the youngest old brand.
Young old brand.
So that's the goal, because at the end, but it's also first on a piece like that. I'm a watch geek, so it's with friends I'm doing stuff to say what would I want. And
when you speak of being a young old brand, I think the running theme is you have a youthful team, but they've been here for quite some time. And speaking to a few team members, they've been here 25 years, 30 years, over a decade. Your watchmaking department, they've been there for well over a decade. What is it about Blancpain and the brand itself to give this tenure, or people wanting to stay and lend their talents to a greater cause?
I think for me it's spirit is I feel personally, and my grandfather always told me that when I was little, and he was gone in the morning early, late home, late nights home. But I'm not working. I'm having fun 12 hours a day, and I don't care what you're doing. You don't have to go to watch whatever, but do something that you have a passion. Otherwise, your days will be horror. You know, we spend way too much time, and in our work life. Yeah. And I think personally, I believe in that. If you do something that starts with a passion, and I want to do that, you will have a success at the end. If you start with the idea, how can I get the quickest to make the best chance of money and have success, you will suffer on the way there, and maybe don't get so far. So, that's a part that I try to have and give with the team, and that was always our philosophy. Family is great, and sometimes hard. So that's the same thing, and that's somehow and it's not for everybody. That's as well as a team. It doesn't mean it's right for everybody, but the ones that stay long, that's a lot. It goes beyond just work. It's.
How hard has it been to keep this project a secret over the last 8 years? And did the whole company know about it, or was this like compartmentalized? And
it wasn't. I think probably quite a lot at the end knew about it because, it's kind of a small word. The secret got surprisingly well kept. I have the impression it was maybe the hardest for me not to talk about it.
Because it's one thing when you see everything that's happening around you in the industry, and all of these brands are part of these conversations, and you're just in the back, in the kitchen, cooking up, and you're like, oh, you guys don't even know what's coming for you. The patience that you have to just not raise your hand and be like, I'm going to crush all you guys.
Yeah, there was some moments where I preferred not to hear from my marketing team everything I was saying.
I think and you mentioned your marketing team, and shout out to our good friends on the marketing team. I think you have the foresight to see so much further than many brands are able to, which can be very cliche. Everyone is like, the future, what's next? But you actually put forth the action to do such. Where does that come from? What's in the water? What's going on at Blancpain?
I don't know actually. No, we just try to. I think we really try to live the passion and try to do what we feel right, and again, it's a little bit this family spirit. Automatically your future, your kids are still kind of important. It's not different people. I always felt horrible to say, oh, it's Gen X, it's Gen Z. It's wait a minute, we are all people. And then, sure, generations changed. We're different parents, but it's not day and night and you wake up and you're born different. It's together evolving, and another thing my grandfather said, and I try this, I got in easier. I think you keep, you get serious everything, but in your mind and your spirit, stay 7-year-old kid. And that's it. You try to stay young, and automatically not with everything, but somewhere you stay today and live today, and it's not living somewhere else and others. And I think that's it's more of progressing with every day and
gradually.
For
sure. I gotta be honest. When I heard that this was happening and Catherine sent me the description about the watch, I didn't know what to expect. And I think for me, my relationship with Blancpain, it was so steeped in heritage. I never expected this moment. And even speaking with you today and hanging out with the team, And it really started with the release of the new Villeray. When I saw that I was surprised because I didn't know that Blancpain would even make even a small pivot like that. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, there's something here, there's something going on. And then witnessing this watch today, I have a lot of respect for you. I have respect for you for taking risk. And 8 years is a long time to put into something and wait to see the fruits of your labor. That's a hell of a seed to plant, right? But I can tell you from seeing the product today and seeing everyone's response to it and the feelings that I got when I saw it, you did it. I think this is a success. The watch is beautiful. It wears almost like a millenary, even though it's still circle, just in terms of the case width, which is a watch that I love. It's incredibly balanced. It's well designed. I do agree with you. The white gold is the best variant, though I'm not above red gold. And it's still very much Blancpain, but it feels like the future. And so I'm very excited and hopeful to see where this continues to go. And you've definitely reestablished not only interest on my behalf in the brand, but confidence. Because this is, I think good product is like half the battle. And that's the toughest part, right? Communications and everything, you can figure that out. But if the product isn't good, then you got to go back to the but this is a game changer. And I don't say that lightly. I would just not say anything at all. But no, it really is. There's a lot of things happening here design-wise. I love asymmetrical design. You're playing a lot with the layout of everything. I mean, 4 gongs is crazy. The musicality portion of it, and I'm interested in seeing where that goes. And I understand that there is, some customization is available to clients who may want to pick this up. So it'll be interesting over the next couple of years to see what people do with this.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. So I just want to say congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for having us visit you all the way here
Thank you for coming.
in Switzerland. Absolutely. No, this is, and I know you got some more secrets up the sleeve. We won't reveal what they are because they're literally up the sleeve. However, congratulations. This is amazing. And I can't wait to see what's next. Now let's test this bad boy out. Let's get some sounds going. I'll just go for it, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
that's the idea.
All right. That's nice.
It's very nice.